Oh, that's nice. Damn, that's badass. Look at that, guys. Sweet. That looks way cooler, guys. Look at that. So dull. Oh, wow. That looks really sharp. That looks nice. Check it out, guys. That looks beautiful. That's the front ambers and the rear reds. Looks so wicked, doesn't it? That looks great. Well, that was the fun part, the easy part. Now, let's get down to the nitty gritty. And that is removing these front struts without killing ourselves. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna grab a couple of long zip ties to help us hold this whole assembly in place, because I'm not gonna take apart the brakes. I'm gonna leave the brakes intact. So first of all, we're gonna take this cap off. It seems simple. It has little spots here for your fingers. So we'll go ahead and pull these out. So these 3 bolts are what's holding the strut on top. We're gonna leave that for now. We're gonna come down here, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and pull this bolt, right? We're gonna pull this bolt right here. I don't know if you guys can see. There it is. This bad boy right here, and this one. Okay, so what I like to do first is this guy here. So let's go ahead and do that one first. I want to get a wrench in here to hold it in place. So that's the first one right here, this bad boy here. And this is the one for the sway bar. You just pull it out, swing it back out that way. Okay, and then we have this guy down here. Okay, so what you do here is hit this bad boy with the socket real quick. Okay, take it off. Alright, and you watch yourself, and you just give this bad boy a good whack. Right here, you just whack it. Alright, so you give it a good whack. Alright, so now here's the hack that I wanted to show you guys. Okay, you're gonna grab a zip tie, you're gonna put it up here. Okay, and this is going to be your helping hand, especially if you're by yourself. Okay, then you're going to find a little hole up here. I found one up here already. Well, actually, you can use this guy up here. Okay, cool. That should hold it. All right, so that's going to hold our brake system here from having pressure on our hoses. See, our hoses, our brake hoses are free and clear. Okay, and now we can take these guys out. Okay, so now all the bolts are gone. All right, so then what we're gonna do here is we're gonna swing this out. Okay, so now we're gonna pick this bad boy up and scoot it out. All right, there it is. Ta-da! Okay, guys, and like I mentioned before, I'm the one that put these springs on, so I marked them already. Passenger, see, I put passenger right here, so the other one is driver. Okay, guys, that's how you do it. And this is the zip ties are there, so to help you not have to remove all this stuff, you just leave your brake system alone. Okay, and I already did this side, same thing. I have it holding on with zip ties. But yeah, check it out, guys. That's the part number 50888F. 50888F. Made in Germany. So technically this is the hard side, because you have to remove the springs. But like I mentioned before, I'm not gonna do it. I don't have the proper tools to do it, and it's really dangerous, so you shouldn't risk it either. I'm gonna take it to my buddy's shop, have him compress the spring, replace them and swap them out. Yeah, so what we're gonna do right now is move on to the rears. The rears are cake. You don't need no special tools for that. Some regular hand tools will do, impacts. So let's get on it. Okay guys, so let's go ahead and start by removing the lower bolt here. What is this? Looks like an 18. Yes it is. Alright. Guess we'll take this guy out. Okay, so that was this bolt here, the one that's holding the sway bar. That guy right there. So now we can just grab a screwdriver. Very little tension here. Just kick it to the side. Okay, so now we're gonna remove this control arm here. This guy right here. We'll leave it in for now. And now we take off this one. This is the one that goes right here on the side. So kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can get better light for you guys. Okay guys, so now before we pull out all our bolts out, let's go ahead and support this thing. I like to just get the floor jack and just put it right there. Okay, and then go up a tad bit. You should be able to pull all these out. Okay, so you might have to play with it a little bit. Okay, and if they don't play nice, get yourself a hammer, slide them out. There's one, number two. Okay, and then all we have left is our shock. Okay guys, so it's kind of hard. There's so many arms, so it's kind of hard not to have some tension. So I had to use a little punch to punch them out. And now we can actually come down on this. There it goes. Okay, we're just gonna let this bad boy hang. Okay, as low as we possibly can. Now we want to take note of where the pockets are, because we need to align our new spring to these pockets here. Okay, so these are going to be kind of hard to come off. Okay, so what I like to do is grab a screwdriver. Okay, and I don't have a big screwdriver right now, so this is going to have to do. Okay, and just pry it. Okay, let me set you guys down here. All right, you guys be real careful when you guys do this. It's super dangerous, but I wish I had a bigger screwdriver. There it goes. Okay, there it goes. All right, cool. Ooh, there's a lot of dirt. All right, we'll vacuum that out. So our old suspension is off and on with the new. This is the new rear. This little guy, BMR SP112RC. This is for 1 1/4 inch drop. So, all right guys, this is actually the hard part right here for me. I find this to be the most difficult part. So let me show you guys what I have going on. There is a donut up there, okay? And there's this donut that goes on the bottom, okay? So you can't screw it up. It has a little groove here, so this goes on top like this, okay? Make sure you clean it up really good, because you don't want to have any dirt in there and have an uneven ride. So that's how it looks, okay? So you have to get this spring in there. This is the reason why we hang this thing very low, okay? So let's go ahead and attempt this. All right, so I'm gonna grab a screwdriver, pry this bad boy in there. Okay, so here's the issue. You see here the little lip? You guys see the little lip? You gotta get the little lip on this side of the spring. So you're gonna have to play with it. So you're gonna have to grab a screwdriver and play with it. So Perfect. All right, you guys see that? Perfect, beautiful. Okay, but now we have an issue. See this little corner? It needs to be in here. So we have to spin this thing. And it's harder than what it seems, guys. So I'm gonna use 2 hands. Okay. All right, that's perfect. All right. So now, when we jack up the car, this little thing, this little end is gonna line up with this end. And remember, this one only goes one way. So you wanna make sure that both sides of the car are this way, or else you're gonna have one side is gonna be slightly higher than the other. You don't want that. That's why you always have to make sure that these little pockets are lined up. So the little pocket on top is lined up and the bottom one is lined up. So that looks really good to me. We're gonna go ahead and jack this bad boy back up. Okay. And the next bolt I like to do is this guy, the one for the shock. And I like to stick a screwdriver on one end, you guys can see, and teeter tot it so it makes it easy to get the bolt in. So I'll grab my screwdriver on one end and then I can teeter tot it. It makes it easy to go in. And then once I have a good amount in, the rest is history with a little love tap. There it goes. Did it one hand. All right. That takes this little guy back here. All right. So now this guy, it's not too hard, but I may need 2 hands for it. Alright guys, and if you guys ever wonder which side these guys go, just remember that the big washer goes to the bushing, because this bushing has this big piece of metal here. So the little head goes outside, the big washer goes to the rubber. And same thing over here. You guys see here, we have the big bushing. Put that bad boy there. Just go over it by hand, make sure it's tight. That's how I like to do it. So I'll grab a ratchet and a wrench, make sure it's tight. All right, and then I'll go through it on every single bolt, making sure they're all nice and tight. Just grab the one in the back here. Okay. Alright. Okay. And then what is this? Okay. Thing with this guy. Alright, nice and tight. Alright, so we got our sway bar one. This is a sway bar. This bolt's tight. We have our upper control arm. This bolt's tight, and remember, it's always the one with the big washer that goes with the bushing. These are big bolts, 18 millimeters. And here's another one. This one's for the side torque arm. Not torque arm, control arm. This is a control arm. Okay, so we got the upper control arm, the side control arm, the sway bar, and there's one more thing that we removed, and that's the bottom of the shock. So down here, come back with the ratchet. Give it that quality control check with our hands. That's pretty tight. All right, that's pretty good. All right. Whew. That was a workout, guys. So what's left to do here is put the wheels back on. However, I'm not gonna put the wheels back on yet because they're filthy. So yeah, guys, the wheels are filthy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take them outside real quick, wash them, so I could get the inner rims, the inner wheels. And then we'll put them back on and we'll drop the car and we'll see how this thing looks. Alright guys, so I just picked up the struts from my buddy's shop at Fast Guys Performance here in Bellflower. They did me the solid of swapping out the lowering springs for me. So we have now our new our struts rocking the new BMR springs, the 1 1/4. So let's go ahead and slap these bad boys on. As mentioned before, I labeled these. So this is a passenger, so this should be pretty easy to install. We'll set this bad boy here. Okay guys, and the reinstall is really easy. Take off our buddies here, the zip ties, our helping hand. Just cut them off. Okay, and then what we're gonna do here is we're gonna kind of swing it out a tad bit. Okay, then we're gonna grab this guy, and this is pretty easy because there's only really one way to do it. You guys can see this little tab here connects to the back. Okay guys, and while carefully supporting the brake assembly, we go ahead and snake our strut back in there, matching it up with the holes on top and on top of this lower A-arm. So that's as easy as it is right there. We're gonna go ahead and shove this alright. Gonna give us a little bit of a hand there. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and grab our sway bar, put that in there. Okay, and you simply fish this guy down, just like that. Okay, that's it. Okay, so now that we have this bolt back in there, that helps keep everything in place. We come back up here, put our bolts. Okay, sometimes this bolt will spin on you, so you have to hold it. There's a slot here for a L, so you can just fish yourself a L in here. All right, and then resume the process. Okay, that's good. We hit the bolt that secures our strut in place. I like to just hit it with the impact. Okay, so now we can come up here and double check these by hand. Okay. All right, that's pretty tight. Alright guys, so right now that the wheels are off, we're going to seize that opportunity and clean the inner fender wells. This car looks amazing with this new lowering springs, as you guys can see here. It looks great, brand new springs, but the rest of the car as well, rather disgusting, honestly. Pretty filthy. So we're going to go ahead and clean the inner fender wells to make sure it looks really, really nice. So we are going to detail this car, right? So what I just have here is just have some car wash soap and a bucket. And basically what I like to do here is just get it nice and wet. Give this bad boy a nice scrub to knock down any dirt. Brush off all this trash up here. Here guys, nice and clean. So again guys, we are gonna wash this car and hit it with the pressure washer, but I wanted to get a mitt in there and just kind of scrub off some of the dirt because the pressure washer alone doesn't do that. I already did this side too, as you guys can see, nice and clean. So, and to compare it to the other side, I'll show you guys so you guys can see how bad it is. Look at this side, super filthy. I don't know if you guys can tell. Disgusting. And the rear is also. So this car was due for a good scrubbing. So the light might be too bright here, but look at all that crud. You guys see all that? So went ahead and took it off. On the other side, I'll go knock out this side, and then we'll move on to the inner fender and inner wheels, and then we could start detailing this car. All right, guys, check it out. Look how dirty this thing is. See that? Super filthy. But this thing is so dirty. Look at this. Okay, and this is what the wheels look like now, nice and clean. Alright guys, so the wheels look nice and clean, the inner fender wheels are nice and clean, but I just remembered I was also tasked to change the oil on this bad boy. So let's go ahead and knock that out right now that the car's in the air. Check out the engine. This bad boy is rocking a 5.7 Hemi with the AFE power air intake. Has the nice gray filter, carb legal, really nice engine, really nice setup. Also has a catch can. Yeah, this car is just such a nicely done, beautiful car. Not too much, not just the right amount of tasteful mods. I love it. I love it a lot. It's really nice. So let's go ahead and change the oil on this bad boy. What I like to do to start is open the oil cap. You should always do this first because you never know. You never know if you could. I mean, what if you can't get the cap off and now you drain the oil? So you always take off the oil cap first. I like to put it here so I know that I have to, when the hood won't close without that cap on over there. So I like to put it here as a safety measure. You know, if I forget to put the cap on and I try to close the hood, it's gonna stop here. So that's what I do. And I always like to pull the dipstick up a little bit. Okay, so when we look under the car, we can't get to the drain plug or the oil filter without removing this bad boy. This is pretty simple. All it takes is a 10mm, I believe. One up here. That's one. And another one over here. That's two. One up here. That's three. And the last one here for four. All right, that's four of them. There we go, slides right out. Oof, we're gonna definitely clean that. All right, so now we see the oil filter, which is leaking. It's probably a little loose. Got the oil filter there and our drain plug up here. Okay guys, so I brought out my big pan for this guy because I have a feeling that it takes a lot of oil. I believe it's 7 quarts. So I brought this big boy out. And then for the drain plug, I think it's like a 13. It's pretty small. Okay, it looks to be a 13. Damn. Whew. Whoever did the oil change last on this bad boy really had that thing tight. Alright. Hopefully I don't get no oil on you guys. If I do, call it 3D action. Call it some 3D action. Now we inspect the oil seal here on the gasket, and it looks really good. So, and this is nice right now because the car is a little bit jacked up more in the front, so we get all the oil out. Now our oil filters on this side, and the perks of having this big pan here is that you can knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. There you go. I wish the car was a tad bit higher, but it's not. All right, let's see here. All right, and here's a better angle of our oil filter. I wiped it down. I think it was leaking a little bit, but yep. All right, let's get a. You're gonna have some seepage. There, that's better. There it goes. All right, and every time, what I like to do here is I always like to make sure that that center stud is tight. So I grab a rag and I make sure it's tight, make sure it didn't get loose on us, and then wipe it down really good. Want to make sure you have a nice clean flat surface here. There it goes. All right. Okay, and this car calls for Pennzoil full synthetic. What I like to do is pre-fill our filters to make sure that the engine doesn't start too dry, and I'll continuously fill it so I have no bubbles. So we carefully put this filter back on, carefully, because we have it filled with oil. All right, pretty damn tight. Yep, pretty much as tight as you can get it by hand. All right, that's good. Yep. Now guys, these oil pans here, I learned my lesson back in my youth. Tie them up tight, but don't over tight them because you'll definitely crack the oil pan. Okay, so what I ended up doing here is give the what do you call that thing, like a skid plate cover, a good cleaning. So if you guys can see here, I took off all the oil. It's real nice and clean. There's no more oil in here at all. So we're gonna go ahead and reinstall this. I already cleaned up the bottom really good, so there's no more oil down there. And if next time we do an oil change we see oil there, then we know that there's a problem. Maybe we're I don't know, maybe there's a little small oil leak somewhere or something that we need to investigate more. Or it was, if we see that it's clean, then we know that it was probably just poor cleanliness from the previous oil change, right? So for now, we're gonna do our best to do the best job we possibly can. So we cleaned up all the oil. We don't want to give the perception that we're doing a sloppy job. And yeah, and like I said, if there is oil down the road, then we know that we cleaned this and it was clean and there's definitely an oil leak. So let's go ahead and put this bad boy on. Goes back the same way, 4 bolts, nothing too crazy. Okay guys, I just lowered the car. Looks way better in my opinion. Look at that. It still dropped, okay, but it has a way better stance with the 1 1/4 inch springs. The back is slightly up, just a tad bit. You have a little bit more fender gap in the front. Remember on the other one it was like tucked in. Now you have quite a bit more. Let's see where we're at. We're about 1.5 now, about 1/2 inch higher. What's over here? We got about 2 inches. That looks good. Man, that looks good. Wow. Wow. It definitely looks a lot better. I like to see just a little bit of fender gap, just enough to, you know, give it that sport look, not that lower slam look. You know, that, you know, it's like it looks good. It looks like it stands right for performance, you know. It looks really nice. I love it. Yeah, before, yeah, it was really low. Now look, now it has a little gap. That looks good. All right guys, so I need to wash this thing like ASAP because it looks like it's gonna rain on us. So I want to get this car out here, wash it, and push it back and put it back in, so we can do the detail. I just want to wash it right now because I know that the rain is coming either late tonight or tomorrow, so I'm gonna wash it right now.